Welcome to our weekly Bhakti Vaibhav. So, able to hear me? My voice is audible?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, Prabhuji.
so last week we were discussing from chapter 17 and 18, wherein understanding that Mother Earth stopped producing food, the people are starving due to lack of sufficient amount of food, and they are about to die. So then Prthu, with an intention to punish Mother Earth, why she is not producing food, chased after her. Came out of the palace. Then understanding that Prthu is going to kill her, Mother Earth assuming the form of a cow, thinking that King Prthu will not harm her if she has taken the form of a cow, she fled away. So Prthu followed after her. Prthu was expecting that she should surrender unto him immediately, but instead she was running away. So he followed after her wherever she went. She traveled all over the length and breadth of the universe, but Prthu followed after her like the Emeraj. So understanding that she cannot escape from the sight of King Prthu, she turned around and offered prayers of glorification, seeing Prthu as an expansion of Supreme Lord. Still Prthu was angry. Then she started saying that, my dear Prthu, please don't be angry so much. I'm not doing this out of my personal intention. But the problem is your father, King Vena, who is supposed to be the representative of Supreme Lord, who is supposed to use all the food grains produced by me in the service of Supreme Lord by the performance of Yajna. Instead, he himself was usurping the properties produced from the earth. And following in his footsteps, all the people also doing the same thing. So Lord Brahma created all these food grains for the purpose of using them in the service of the Yajna. But things are going in the opposite order. So I hid them there within myself. That's why I have not produced. Just to teach a good lesson to my children. All the human beings, all the living entities that are living in the service of the earth are my children. So do I not have the authority or right to correct my children? So like that, Mother Earth put forward some conditions. So then she said that, please don't be angry. Just like the just like the great sages, having read the Vedas, extracted the essence and spoke it to the people in general, common people who cannot read the Vedas and understand properly. What is required for them to survive nicely currently and attain good fortune in the future. So following in their footsteps, try to listen my words and try to get what is good for you and for the entire kingdom. Do the needful accordingly. So like that, Mother Earth in the form of a cow was requesting King Prthu, do the needful, as I say now. I see that all the plants created previously by Lord Brahma are being enjoyed by the sinners who have no sense of control. Who have no sense control. So then she said that, not protected and respected by the kings like you, previously. You just come, but those people who assumed the position like you as a king, they did not respect me, they did not respect Dharma. In this place filled with thieves, I have devoured all the plants so that the sacrifice can be performed in the future. The food which is meant for sacrifice is being misused by the kings and other people. That's why I hid itself so that the future generations can perform sacrifice. So like that, with that intention, she said. With Vena in mind, she also scolds his son, King Prthu. She is unprotected because no sacrifices are being performed, and she is not respected because irreligion has spread all over. After that, when Vena died, the place became full of thieves. If I had not devoured all the plants, then how could I possess them now? I have done this for the sacrifice, for the sacrifice that you will start again in the future. So now, in order to pacify King Prthu, she is telling that, so my dear Lord, actually I have hid all the food grains just for your sake only, so that you will use them in the sacrifice in the future properly. Otherwise, everything would have been misused, would have been destroyed by the mischievous Vena and all the other thieves, the citizens who are thieves. So like that, she is trying to convince and she is trying to appease King Prthu that what she did is not wrong. She did it in the best benefit of the people who are going to be born and the best benefit of King Prthu. So like that she is telling. So that is where we stopped last week and we will continue with verse number 8. Anyone had any question from last week? Maybe absent.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. We will continue now. Nunam va viruda, nunam va viruda kshina, mai kalena bhuyasa, tatra yogena drishtena, bhavan adatumarhati.
Due to being shocked for a very long time, stalked for a very long time, all the grain seeds within me have certainly deteriorated. Therefore, you should immediately arrange to take these seeds out by the standard process, which is recommended by the acharyas or shastras.
Yeah, here Mother Earth is saying that uh, all these things were kept within me, and now I will tell you the method by which you can extract them out of me. So previously, Pruthu was after cow saying that you are eating grass, but you are not giving milk. Then in between, Mother Earth said that, so my udder is not full. How can I give milk? So now she is going to tell that all the food grains that are hidden by me are in my abdomen. So now I will tell you how to extract them, the best procedure. These plants have been situated within me, within my abdomen for a long time in a subtle state. That means in the time King Vena became the king, and then afterward, after his death, the thieves were exploiting the entire in this entire arena, entire time. The food grains were not produced; they were completely hidden within the abdomen of Mother Earth. So like that, she's telling long time. By the method I will explain, you should take them out. Nunam tatra yogena drishtena bhavan adatu marhati. Just like by churning yogurt, we extract butter. Now, similarly, Mother Earth is going to tell some method by which Prthu can extract the uh, food grains from her, or we can say the milk which is still within the abdomen only, not in the udder, so that he can take the milk out of the cow. So like that. So Kshina stands for situated in a subtle form. Kshina means not that they are destroyed, but they are kept hidden within the abdomen of Mother Earth in subtle form, so that others will not understand that okay, there is milk in that way. Drishtena yogena means by the process I will explain unto you. Follow that process and extract the food grains that are hidden within me. So here in the purport, Prabhupada says that the method which Mother Earth is going to present, that should be followed by the politicians whenever there is akal. When there is scarcity of grain, the government should follow the methods prescribed in the Shastra and approved by the Acharyas. Thus, there will be sufficient production of grains and food scarcity, food scarcity and famine can be checked. Bhagavad Gita recommends that we perform yajna or sacrifices. By the performance of yajna, sufficient clouds gather in the sky. And when there are sufficient clouds, there is also sufficient rainfall. In this way, agricultural matters are taken care of. When there is sufficient grain production, the general populace eats the grains, and animals like cows, goats, and other domestic animals eat the grasses and grains also. According to this arrangement, human beings should perform the sacrifices recommended in the Shastras. And if they do so, there will be no longer be food scarcity. In Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice recommended is Sankirtana Yajna. Yajnanam Japajñasmi. The Prabhupada mainly explaining the meaning of the verse, Bhagavad Gita chapter 3. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanya dhanna sambhava yajnat bhavanti parjanno yajna karma samudbhava. So yajna should be performed by the leader with the cooperation of all the citizens so that everyone will get benefited. So that is the Shastric procedure. So in that way.
How do you explain that right now Yajna is not being proposed?
So the understanding is that even right now also some people are performing whatever activity they are performing as an offering to Supreme Lord, and also the previous generation has performed a lot of yajnas. It is still continuing. So yajna is not only just fire sacrifice, it encompasses all the duties. Yajna karma samudbhavaha. Yajna is accomplished by the execution of one's varnashrama duties in a religious bona fide, like how a Nishkama Karma Yogi performs. So like that. We read in the previous chapter. Where this is not Kali Yuga, this is Treta Yuga. No. He king only stopped na everyone to perform yajna. King Vena traveling everywhere, and wherever Brahmanas are performing yajna, we would beat them, torture them, trouble them. We would say that don't perform yajna for Vishnu. If you want to perform yajna, perform for me. So they did not perform. They did not allow anyone to perform yajna for the satisfaction of Vishnu. So there was no yajna performance. So in that way. He himself stopped. So Vena stopped yajna, earth stopped food production. Tit for tat. So like
Right now somebody is
yes. Either varnashram duties or actually fire sacrifice or devotees perform devotional activities. So at least some are doing, everyone is getting benefit. So in that way. If nobody performs, maybe a generation later, Hare Krishna. It will not happen immediately. It will take some time. Okay. We'll continue with verse number 9-10. She is prescribing the procedure. By following what procedure, King Prthu can extract the milk which is still in the abdomen of the cow in a subtle state. So in that way. Vastam kalpaya me veera yenaham vastalatava dokshe kshiramayam kamam anurupam cha dohanam dogdaram cha mahabaho bhutanam bhuta bhavana annam ipsitam urjasvat bhagavan vanchate yadi.
O great hero, protector of living entities, if you desire to relieve the living entities by supplying them sufficient grains, and if you desire to nourish them by taking milk from me, you should make arrangements to bring a calf suitable for this purpose and a pot in which the milk can be kept, as well as a milkman to do the work. Since I will be very much affectionate towards my calf, your desire to take milk from me will be fulfilled.
Now Mother Earth is saying simple thing. Since I have taken the shape of a cow, I cannot give milk just like that. There should be a calf. Looking at the calf, out of affection for calf, the cow will generate milk and the udder becomes filled with milk. Then the cowherd man can take out the milk from the udder of the cow. So she is giving the complete procedure. Otherwise, how can I give milk just like that? When there is no calf, when there is no milkman, when there is no collecting part, I cannot give. So please do the needful in this regard. Like that, she's telling. O courageous king, O Veera, O mighty armed king, O Mahabaho, O nourisher of the living entities, Bhuta Bhavana, if at all you want, Edi Vanchati, the desire foods producing strength, Ifisam Urjasvat Annam. We take food in order to get strength, in order to get nourishment, in order to remain healthy, something like that. So if you want the desired food producing strength, arrange for a calf. Vastam kalpaya. First of all, arrange a calf so that I, being affectionate to that calf, will produce desired milk. Whatever milk you are looking for, I can only provide that milk only if there is a calf. Without calf, I cannot give the milk. And that milk which is suitable for the living entities to sustain themselves. And at the same time, so calf is there. So milk will be there in my udder, but you have to arrange so that you can take out the milk from my udder. So for that, what we need? You should also arrange a milk pot in which the milk should be collected, and also a milkman who will extract the milk from the udder of the cow. So she is giving the complete procedure, what to do and how to do, etc. So that the milk can be taken from the mother cow. So it's like that. So Prabhupada actually expands the same thing. How and when cow gives milk, there should be calf. Without calf, cow cannot give milk. That concept is indicated. Prabhupada writes, these are the nice instructions for milking a cow. The cow must first have a calf, so that out of affection for the calf, she will voluntarily give sufficient amount of milk. There must also be expert milkman and a suitable pot in which milk to be kept. Just as a cow cannot deliver sufficient milk without being affectionate to her calf, the earth cannot produce sufficient necessities without being affectionate to those who are Krishna conscious. So later on we understand that the calf is the representative of the entire society. It may be any society, human society or animal society or any other Devada society. There should be a representative of that entire society. For the human society, the representative is king. If king is a religious minded and a devotee of the Lord, Mother Earth will yield all the food grains profusely. If the king himself is not a devotee, Mother Earth will withdraw everything. That is the principle. The calf represents the head of the particular society. Later on, we see in the future verses who are the different people made as the calf for a particular society. So in that way. Just as a calf can derive milk from a cow, all living entities, including animals, birds, bees, reptiles, and aquatics, can receive their respective foods from the earth, provided that the human beings are not asat or adruta vrata. Druta vrata or adruta vrata, as we have previously discussed. In the second canto, there was a concept called as druta vrata. Ekapad vibhuti, tripad vibhuti. So those who are practicing druta vrata, in the bracket Prabhupada writes bhakti, they are qualified to go to spiritual world. Those who are not following druta vrata, they will remain here in the material world. Ekapad vibhuti. So like that. When human society becomes asat or ungodly or devoid of Krishna consciousness, the entire world suffers. See, if human beings become asat, the entire world suffers. Because if humans don't perform yajna, there will be no rains, the plants will not grow, the herbivorous animals will not have grasses, the carnivorous animals will not have the herbivorous animals, there will be no performance of sacrifices, that the devatas will become weak, like that everything will go topsy-turvy. So rains are very important for everyone to survive. For the rain to come, yajna should be performed. For the yajna to be performed, there should be proper human society. And that human society should be guided by a religious king. King is not there, all things will go out of order. So that is the understanding. If human beings are well behaved, animals will also receive sufficient food and be happy. The ungodly human being, ignorant of this duty to give protection and food to the animals, kills them to compensate for the insufficient production of grains. Thus, no one is satisfied, and that is the cause for the present condition in today's world. In today's world, instead of producing food grains, they are producing animal flesh. So that will lead to overall unhappiness of the entire human society and also animal society. Both animals are going to suffering, and by eating the animal flesh, humans also will go through suffering. So that is what Prabhupada is saying. So this is how the Mother Earth is prescribing the bona fide way of extracting milk from her. So she further continues and kind of concludes. I mean, then after milking from me, please do a small favor for me. This is a request asked by Mother Earth unto Prthu. Samam cha kuru mam rajan beva vrishtam yatapaya apartau api badrante upavarte tame vibho.
My dear, okay, continue, Mataji.
My dear king, may I inform you that you have to make the entire surface of the globe level. This will help me even when the rainy season has ceased. Rainfall comes by the mercy of King Indra. Rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production.
Yeah. So her request is, O King, O Lord, make me level so that the auspicious water falling by Indra's grace will remain for you when the rainy season has passed. So since Earth is having a lot of mountains and high ups and downs, the water which came through the means of rains is not stored somewhere properly. It is gradually going to the ocean. That is also one of the problem that human beings, the people did not have proper food grains. If you level the earth, that will be suitable in both aspects. One is to store the water. Second is to cultivate the land. You will have more land for agricultural purposes so that more food production will be there in the future. So with that intention, she is requesting Prabhu to level the entire land. So even when the rain season has passed, the water, if the water is stored properly, the remaining seasons people have sufficient amount of water. So that was the intention with which Mother Earth is requesting King Prthu to level the surface of the land. So Mother Earth gave the procedure how Prthu can extract milk from her. Now King Prthu will come into action. Iti priyam hitam vakyam bhuva adaya bhupati vastam krutva manum panau aduhat sakalaushadi.
After hearing the auspicious and pleasing words of the planet Earth, the king accepted them. He then transformed Swayambhuva Manu into a calf and milked all the herbs and grains from the earth in the form of a cow, keeping them in his cupped hands.
Now, first of all, Prthu, following the instructions of Mother Earth, did something wonderful. What did he do? He arranged a calf, he arranged a milk pot, he also arranged milkman. So that Mother Earth gave food grains. That means cow gave milk in that sense. Considering the beneficial words, iti priyam hitam vakyam. As previously Mother Earth cow told that please listen and take the essence. Just like the great sages also read all the Vedas but took the essence only, like that. He understood what to do and he took the essence of that. And then the king, making Swayambhuva Manu at the calf. Prthu made Swayambhuva Manu at the calf. Because Swayambhuva Manu is the best of the kings and a best devotee. One of the best devotee. So he made Swayambhuva Manu at the calf. So if Swayambhuva Manu made at the calf, Mother Earth becomes very happy. Because Swayambhuva Manu is, since he is a great devotee. So immediately by looking at Swayambhuva Manu, our udders were filled with milk. So then he himself milked out all the plants and food grains. Prthu himself became the milkman. And he made his own hands at the pot, which can collect the milk. So in that way, he did not use any other metal pot, or he himself used panav, his own hands, so that he can collect all the food grains on the surface of the Mother Earth and he can distribute it to people. Because kings are supposed to be known for charities. So he will give the charity of all the food grains to all the people. That's how we have to understand. He collected the milk in the form of the food grains from Mother Earth, who is in the form of a cow, by keeping Swayambhu Manu at the calf within his hands, and it distributed that milk to one and all whoever is hungry at that point of time. So in that way. Tatapare cha sarvatra saram adadate buddha tato necha yata kamam dududu Prthu bhavitam.
Others who were as intelligent as King Prthu also took the essence out of the earthly planet. Indeed, everyone took this opportunity to follow in the footsteps of King Prthu and get whatever he desired from the planet Earth.
Yeah. Following the example of King Prthu, the leaders of all the societies that are there within the universe also took whatever they need from Mother Earth in the form of milk. So that is understanding. As well, other intelligent persons took the essence of what Mother's cow spoke, of what Prthu did in all conditions as the earth had explained. Thus, others also milked the earth who was devoted to King Prthu according to their desires. All other society of living entities followed the example of King Prthu, and they extracted whatever they need in the form of milk from Mother cow, who was Mother Earth herself. So that is the understanding. Yadyat acharati shrestha interrogena. So like that. Just as Prthu accepted the essence of the earth's words, and doing that achieved his desired results of getting food grains. So others also being intelligent did the same thing, followed the example of Prthu. The principle is that the intelligent take the essence in the words of all people at all times. They again obtained all the items taken away from everyone because of the absence of dharma during the region of Vena, and when there was no religious king. When Vena was there, either the sages, nor the Brahmanas, nor the Devatas are nourished properly. They are not able to perform their varnashram duties properly. Everyone was starving. Now, because Prthu is there, out of affection for Prthu, Mother Earth said, may you take and may everyone else also can take, no problem. So Prthu took it, what is required for the human beings, for the human society, and now the other societies will also take from Mother Earth by providing the milkman, milk pot, calf, etc. So that is the understanding. So Prabhupada talks about what is the religious way of living in this world, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. For that one need to perform yajna, but best among all the yajnas is Sankirtan yajna. By following Sankirtan yajna, all of us can become religious and all of us can be provided with all the necessities that we need. So like that, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. Prthu Bhavita means the earth inspired by King Prthu. The earth desired to give everything to Prthu. She became completely devoted to Prthu. So because Mother Earth developed special affinity towards King Prthu, and with that, she ready to offer anything Prthu wanted. So that is the understanding. So next 15 verses talks about who took what as their requirement. That is what the entire chapter is all about. Hare Krishna, able to follow what's happening?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, Yogi. Till now it is clear.
ऋषयोरुदेवीम् Indriyeshu Atasattama Vastam Brahpatim Krutva Payas Chandomayim Suchi.
All the great sages transform Brihaspati into a calf, and making the senses into a pot, they milk all kinds of Vedic knowledge to purify words, mind, and hearing.
So Maitreya is continuing that. Oh Vidura, making Brihaspati at the calf, the great sages, the Rishis who are living in the Bhuvarloka, Sargaloka and upper planetary systems, wherever they are living, all the great sages, they obtained from the earth milk in the form of pure Vedic verses with the senses at the pot. What the great sages needed? They only needed the Vedas, the Vedic mantras, the pure teachings of the Vedas. Those things they obtained in the as the milk from the Mother Earth, which is in the form of cow, keeping their senses at the pot. Matlab, through their jnanendriyas, mind, intelligence, ahankara, chetana, karmendriyas, they received all the Vedas and kept themselves within the core of their heart. So like that. The milk was all the Vedic verses. Paya Chendo Mayam Suchi. The pure Vedic verses are the milk here. So in that way. Devi is the earth. The senses receiving the Vedas by voice, mind and ears were the pot. The voice, the mind and the ears were the pot by which the milk is accepted by the great sages. Milk means the Vedas. The sound vibration is accepted by the great sages. When somebody speaks, when somebody hears, when somebody contemplates, they are received. So in that way.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Manoj.
Prabhuji, like earth means where we grow the seeds or whatever herbs, medicines, grains, everything. But Vedic knowledge, how it is taken from the earth, I didn't understand. Means it is given first to the Brahma, and Brahmaji gave it to Narada and other things. So when it came to earth, so that it has to be retrieved back from the earth again.
So when I read through this section, I was understanding this. Out of the 14 planetary systems, Bhuloka is special. Within Bhuloka, Bharata Varsha is special. And in Bharata Varsha, generally, regularly, we read from the Vedic literature, the great sages come here to perform austerities. Because Bharata Varsha is so special place, a pious place. Whatever it is done here once is equal to 1,000 times. Thousand times of doing other places in Bharata Varsha, not just India, the entire Bharata Varsha. So whatever is being done is here is equal to 1,000 times of that same thing performed elsewhere in the entire universe. So Mother Earth is, in the sense, Bharata Varsha is so special. So keeping that in mind, so my understanding is that in order to get knowledge or in order to get qualification to get the proper knowledge, all these great sages would come to Bharatavarsha and perform austerities one time, which is equal to performance of 1,000 times elsewhere. So they receive proper qualification and then they will receive the Vedic knowledge and they will understand the Vedic knowledge. So that is my understanding when I read this verse. So in that way, that means the Mother Earth, especially in Bharatavarsha, she is so favorable, she is so conducive to practice devotional activities, religious activities, so that the performer will get the results quickly and easily. And especially when they come in a bona fide disciplined succession, Mother Earth will provide favorable circumstances in such a way that they will receive knowledge very quickly. So that is understanding. So by keeping Brihaspati at the calf, that means one of the venerable personality who is a great devotee and master of the Vedas, So Mother Earth will become favorable to provide circumstances for the followers of the Bruhaspati. So in that way.
So that means when we are talking the earth who gave the Vedic knowledge in this verse as we are reading, it is mainly talked about the Bharatvarsha.
Yeah, we can say, generally we say, na, when not something is being spoken. In particular, Chowpatty temple in general, ISKCON. ISKCON in general, in particular, Chowpatty. Something like that. So in general, it is about the entire Bhumandala, but in particular, about Bharatavarsha. So like that we should take.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Since King Prthu is ruling the entire Bhumandala being situated within Bharatavarsha, his capital is in Bharatavarsha only.
Yeah. And we means this is what means now I'm trying to understand. I may be wrong. You can please correct me if I'm wrong. That means apart from the place where the thing is performed or austerities are performed so that one becomes eligible to get Vedic knowledge. The same way, one requires the physical health to develop a proper consciousness so that one can receive the Vedic knowledge. So maybe it is by providing the proper good quality of grains, one earth will nourish that body and consciousness as well, which can be eligible to receive the Vedic knowledge. This can be, I don't know, you correct me.
No. See, you are combining all the things. Human beings are sustained by food grains. Sages are not sustained by the food grains. Their food is entirely different. I also don't know. You have to go to Marlock and see what they eat. See, you don't have to combine both the things. Not like that. For human beings, we need sattvic food to keep good health and to purify our mind and intelligence so that we can get the understanding of the Vedic literatures. But the sages who are on the level of Brahmajnanis and all, their main activity is tapasya. So that is, that is their food, you can say. They can live without having any food, but by performing austerities tapasya for millions of years. So it's like that. That is their main activity.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, this Earth planet is in Bharatvarsha. So Bharatvarsha is a flat piece of land. So how is this Earth is on top of it or floating in the? Where is it exactly?
No, don't ask that question right now. It is out of subject. We will discuss that in the 5th canto when we go there.
Okay.
That time we will discuss. Maybe in a few chapters later we'll come to that point. That time we will discuss.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, Mataji. Yeah,
No,
you
no.
are asking something.
So when they said that Mother Earth gave knowledge, but what did she give to Brihaspati? What did Brihaspati? The Mother Earth gave Vedic knowledge to Brihaspati.
No. Mother Earth gave Vedic knowledge to Brihaspati. Not like that. I mentioned that when the great sages come to Bharatavarsha and perform austerities representing Brihaspati in the disciple succession, Mother Earth will provide favorable circumstances so that they will receive the knowledge properly. So they will join ISKCON. So where they will get the knowledge easily, something like that. So it's like they'll come in the association of some group of devotees and then they will get knowledge very quickly. So in that way.
Prabhuji, one more thing, like you mentioned that sages and all, they come to Bharatvarsha to perform austerities because one gets much more benefit of those austerities, which if performed at some other places. So Bharatvarsha extends till where means sages from Marloka and those places also do come to Bharatvarsha to perform austerities or
Yes. From the 14 planet system, they come to Bharatavarsha to perform austerities.
So Bharatvarsha is Earth planet is total Bharatvarsha.
No, not now. Later on, 5th canto.
Okay. Thank you.
Even if I tell now, you will not understand. That's why I'm saying.
Okay, okay. We are also
Bharatavarsha is much more than the Earth planet. Generally, people think that Bharatavarsha means India, not India. Bharatavarsha is 9 times bigger than the Earth globe.
Oh,
So it's like that.
yeah. We are also eagerly
Now,
waiting.
now next question will ask where are they, etc. So like that, it goes on so many questions. That's why I'm not answering.
Okay, okay, no problem. Thank you.
Kritvavastam suragana indram somam adududuhan hiranmayena patrena viryam ojo balampaya.
All the demigods made Indra, the king of heaven, into a calf, and from the earth they milked the beverage soma, which is nectar. Thus they became very powerful in mental speculation and bodily and sensual strength.
Now the devatas making Indra the calf produce nectar because nectar is their food. Just like human beings need food grains for food, the great sages need Vedic knowledge for food. The devatas need nectar for food. Their food is nectar, not food grains, consisting of the power of mind, the power of the senses, power of the body in a part of gold. Hiranmayena patrena. So Samudra Manthan also, Lord Dhanvantari came out of a nectar pot. That pot is made up of gold with silver border. So it's like that. The same way, the nectar is kept in a golden pot. It cannot be kept in an ordinary mud pot or aluminum pot or brass pot or something like that. The nectar to stay intact, it should be kept in a golden pot. So that's why it is specifically mentioned in a patrena. So the devatas extracted nectar from Mother Earth in a pot of gold by making Indra as the calf. Because Indra is a great devotee, so he is made as a calf. The Mother Earth became favorably inclined toward the devatas and she gave immediately the nectar. It's in that way. Soma means nectar, Virya is mental power, Oja is the sense power, and Bala is the bodily strength. And this was the milk. So by drinking nectar, they will get the power of the mind, the power of the senses, and power of the body. All these things are required so that they can fight with the asuras, they can win over the asuras, they can continue to rule over the three planetary systems. Otherwise, they become weak, they will be defeated by the asuras. Asuras become the king of the heaven, then the entire universe goes upside down. Dharma becomes adharma, adharma becomes dharma. That we saw in the case of Ravana and Hiranyakashipu. So in that way. Daiteyadana Prahladam Asurarshibham Vidyaya Duduhan Kshiram Ayapatre Surasavam.
The sons of Diti and the demons transformed Prahlad Maharaj, who was born in an Asura family, into a calf, and they extracted various kinds of liquor and beer, which they put into a pot made of iron.
So before going ahead, one point, connecting point. Here kindly understand, these things are happening. These things were happened in the past, are happening now, will happen in the future. This is the procedure, a systematic procedure established by Brahma and which is reminded by Mother Earth to Prthu, and Prthu inaugurated and everyone followed. If you see, Brospati or Indra, and later on the next verse talks about the current verse which we discuss is Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad was not born at the time of King Prthu. King Prthu was belonging to Swayambhu Manvantara period. Prahlad Maharaj was born during Chakshusha Manvantara period, 6th Manvantara. He was not born only. But how come Maitreya is telling this? Among all the asuras, Prahlad is the devotee. So all the asuras in the past, before the birth of Prahlad, by keeping Prahlad, who is a great devotee, they got what they needed. And at the time of Prahlad, By keeping Prahlad himself, they got what they needed. And later on now, even though Prahlad is not there, by in the name of Prahlad, they will get what they want. It is like that. So even though currently, as per our discussion, some of the people who are not yet born, they will be going to born in the future. But keeping them as calf, that respective community will get whatever they want from Mother Earth. And getting from Mother Earth means they are not taking directly. For example, from Indra's point of view, Devata's point of view, the nectar is provided to them not directly from earth. It is the indirect procedure. When Mother Earth produces food grains and grasses, the food grains are collected by human beings. The grass is eaten by mother cow, and mother cow will give milk. The milk will be transformed into yogurt and then eventually butter and ghee. And all the food grains, and also from Mother Earth only we get plants and trees. From that we get wood fire. And from Mother Earth only we get bricks. With the bricks we prepare Yajna. With the plants we get wood fire. With the cows we get ghee. With the from Mother Earth we get all the different variety of food grains, fruits, flowers. Employing all these things, when Yajna is performed, in that Yajna oblations are offered, Agni will transform those oblations into nectar. That nectar will be given to Devatas. So this is like a long procedure, but it is mentioned in one statement. That's how we have to understand. How Mother Earth is giving nectar to the Devatas? This is the means. This is the complete procedure. So like that.
Prabhuji, but one more question, like usually we hear that nectar is delivered to the devatas, means soma rasa, what they are talking, by the moon. Like you also had mentioned many times that 14 days the devatas take the somaras from the moon, and one day the pitaras will take, and all those things. So
yes,
then how it goes from earth to moon, or it comes from moon to earth? Means I am confused.
No, that is see, here since we are talking about our relationship to Devatas, it happens like this through the medium of Yajna also. It also happens through the medium of Soma also. When sun evaporates water from all the different water bodies on the surface of the earth, that water directly goes to the moon, and moon will extract the essence of that water and convert that essence into Somarasa. And the remaining water, like after extracting butter from the yogurt, the remaining part is called buttermilk. So like that, the remaining water will come down and form clouds. And that clouds will come down in the form of rains, and that rains will transform in the form of food grains, etc., eventually. So that is like a whole cycle. But in any way, in that way also there is a connection to Mother Earth only. The water evaporated from sun is only from the surface of the Mother Earth only. There also role of Mother Earth is there. If there is no Mother Earth, there is no surface of the earth, there will be no water body. Then there will be no evaporation of the water. So like that we should see.
Okay, so the ingredients required for preparing somarasa by the moon, they first go from earth to moon, and then moon there the somarasa is prepared, and whatever the remaining part.
It's only water only, no other ingredients, only evaporated water.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you.
And we also saw the nectar also churned from milk ocean also. By putting all the oshadi and other herbs into the milk ocean, they churned. There are different means also, but where we are directly involved is Yajna. That is important for us.
Actually, means these things are very confusing, Prabhuji, because we see that, now the somarasa has also been provided by the earth. Again, the next verse it is saying that the keeping Prahlad, means who is a devotee, as a calf, they extracted all the liquors and things like that. So why the earth will provide liquors and things like that, and why a devotee like Prahlad, who is made as a calf, will like to accept that? So all these things, it's really difficult to understand.
No, why difficult? Whatever one needs, Mother Earth will provide everyone everything.
But when she is talking herself about as a mother, in the previous chapter, she told Prthu Maharaj that if my children are behaving wrongly, I have to correct them. So if I have taken some action, you can't say like this. That's what she has said. So now,
Okay, then what is wrong here?
so if the children are asking for the liquor, the mother will provide or what, Prabhuji?
That's what. Mother will not provide liquor for human beings, but she will provide liquor for the asuras.
So when
Asuras
the
are meant to drink. That liquor is not the liquor which we get in beer shop. That is a different liquor.
whatever it is, but liquor is liquor, no, Prabhuji. Means
No,
maybe
liquor is our terminology. Wait. We will discuss what it is. The sons of Diti, the demons, making Prahlada with the best of the demoniac family. The calf, at making him as the calf, milked liquor at the milk. Adu Duhan, Kshiram, Sura Asavam in an iron pot. See, in English, we don't have a proper translation. Liquor is not the correct translation. It is called Sura Asavam. The Somarasa is called Deva Asavam. And what the Asuras are drinking, it is called Sura Asavam. It is one of the intoxicant beverage. Later on, we read in the 5th canto, by drinking this beverage, which is kind of intoxicant, the Asuras will become filled with so much physical strength, mental strength. They will never ever become old. There will be no wrinkles on their bodies. They will never have gray hairs. They become actually strong and stout, healthy. That is the result of drinking the Surasavam. It is not a liquor that you are thinking about that is available in the beer shops, bar and restaurant.
okay.
See, what we know is only little. Do not impose it on all the other things that is there are there in the everywhere.
Yeah, actually, it is confusing. Whatever we will think, it is according to our limited knowledge and limited intelligence.
That is the problem. That is the problem we do. We think that we know everything. So here Prabhuji is asking, what is the difference between Sura Asavam and Asura Asavam? Or Sura, this Somaras and this Asuras Asavam. Milk liquor at the milk in the form of an iron pot. Both are same, but there is a difference. Amruta is in the mode of goodness. This Sura Asavam in the mode of passion. This is the food in the mode of passion. That is the food in the mode of goodness. You have read Bhagavad Gita, yaad hai kya? Foods in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. They have other food only, but they have different properties and different etc. So in that way, the people in the mode of goodness will like the food in the mode of goodness. People in the mode of passion like the food in the mode of passion. Though the end result is somewhat similar, but it is different. Yes, Mataji.
So the current liquors, what we say, Prabhuji, that is the something in the
Current
mode of.
liquors, what you say, what I say, I don't know. I'm not talking
No,
about that.
what I'm saying is whether that can be considered as the thing in the mode of ignorance.
Yeah, that
That's
should
it.
be considered in the food in the mode of ignorance. Because as I'm mentioning, by drinking the Surasavam, the Asuras become healthy, strong, and stout. You tell me, by drinking liquor that is available on the roadside, who will become strong and stout and proper minded person?
In fact, it produces negative results. No, even for the body
That's
consciousness.
why I'm not. That's why I'm keeping them both are separate. Don't try to see the Surasavam with that.
Okay.
So,
And
for
one
more
more.
details,
Yeah.
the Surasavam details we will understand more and more in the 24th chapter of the 5th canto. That time we will discuss more elaborately what it is.
Okay. And one more small thing, Prabhuji, like you mentioned that time Prahlad Maharaj was not born, but still he was made the calf. So means how to understand this means they called Prahlad Maharaj because they were knowing he will be coming in the future generations, or how things.
Yes. They know, Mother Earth also know that Prahlad will be born. Because Prahlad is also born in the Asura dynasty, and Mother Earth became affectionate to them and gave food to all the Asuras. Whoever were born in the past and born in the present and will be born in the future. So it's like that.
Knowing that this will be the person or devotee will be coming in this Asura dynasty, Earth became ready to give all whatever things for the Asura.
Yes. Will be.
Thank you.
Gandharvapsasaro dukshan patre padnamaye paya vastam vishwavasum krutva gandharvam madhu saubhagam.
The inhabitants of Gandharva Lok and Apsara Lok made Vishwavasu into a calf, and they drew the milk into a lotus flower pot. The milk took the shape of sweet musical art and beauty.
The Gandharvas and Apsaras making Vishwavasu, the calf. Vishwavasu is the leader among the Gandharvas. Produced sweet, beautiful songs at the milk with a lotus at the pot. Padnamaye patre. Madhu means sweet. Another version has Ganam instead of Gandharvam. So the songs and the music they obtained from Mother Earth in the form of milk in a pot known as Padmamaye, in a lotus. So my understanding about the lotus was, I was thinking like this. Lotus indicates the beautiful scenery. The Gandharvas become jubilant in a nice and beautiful surrounding where they start singing, dancing, etc. etc. Generally, whenever Cupid wanted to disturb some sage who was performing austerities, the Cupid does two things. He creates spring season all around, because spring is the season where all the plants are flowering. Everywhere flowers are there. Best among the flowers is lotus. So that indicates the beautiful surrounding, beautiful scenic atmosphere where the person becomes jubilant to sing and dance. So in that way. So Gandharvas and Apsaras are known for singing and dancing, and they become more inclined to sing and dance, especially in the spring season where the entire atmosphere is filled with lot of flowers, beautiful flowers, and among them is lotus also. So in that way. So like that we should see. That means they will be able to perform the act of singing and dancing in the spring season, accompanied by all the full flowers. The flowers acting at the pot where the milk can be contained in the form of singing and dancing. So in that way. So next. Vastena pitaroryamna kavyam kshiram adukshata amapatre mahabhaga shraddaya shraddha devata.
The fortunate inhabitants of Pitraloka who preside over the funeral ceremonies made Aryama into a calf. With great faith, they milked kavya, food offered to the ancestors, into an unbaked earthen pot.
Yeah. Next, the Pitrus, a category of devatas who are presiding over the funeral rites, making Aryama, the calf. Aryama is one of the 12 sons of Aditi. Aryama is one of the 12 sons of Aditi. He became the leader of the Pitrus. So that is understanding. With faith produced offerings to the ancestors at the milk in a pot of unbaked clay. Unbaked earthen pot. The pot is prepared from the mud, but is not burnt to become a reddish in color. So that kind of pot, using that pot, the offering should be performed. Even I observed this one in the funeral rites. This kind of pots are used. This kind of mud pots are used for the entire 13-day ceremony, starting from the point of death all the way up to 13th-day ceremony. The mud pots are used, but they are not unbaked. They are not baked. So that's how the process, even when my father passed away, I personally observed it. So when I read this, I got the connection. And the second connection is recently in the Bhagavatam class we were discussing. In the last 2 weeks, I had a class, and before that, in the Bhagavatam regularly the 13th chapter is going on. When Yamaraj was cursed by Mandavya Muni to become a son of Ishudrani, he came and born as Vidura. That time, the duties of Yamaraj were taken care by Aryama, who was his uncle. Yamaraj's father was Vivaswan, sun god, and sun god's younger brother is Aryama. So Aryama is the leader of the Pitrus. There are two Pitralokas within our universe. One Pitraloka is in the moon planet, one Pitraloka in Yamaloka. So in the Yamaloka, wherever the Pitraloka is there, for that the leader is Yamaraj. The Pitraloka, which is there in the Chandraloka, the leader is Aryama. So in that way. So when Yamaraj kind of took leave from his duties, Aryama came down and took care of the responsibility of the Yamaraj. So in that way. So what they got in milk? The milk is the oblations which are offered at the Shraddha rites. So next week we are going to have this beginning of this Pitru Paksha. Bhadra Purnima, next Sunday. The day after that, Pitru Paksha will start 15 days. That is called entire Pitru Paksha, during which all the ancestors were offered the oblations, Shraddha oblations. So that is the food for the Pitrus. So in that way, that is what they got, keeping Aryama at the calf. So in that way.
Prabhuji, can you please mention again the two Pitrulokas you mentioned? One is in the moon planet and other is where?
Yamaloka.
Okay, one is in Yamaloka and other is in moon planet.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Kavyam means food for the Pitrus. Ama patre means in a pot of unbaked clay. So that is the general. I mean, at least in the villages, even I see today also, they use that unbaked earthen pot for all the 12 days to feed the deceased person, the dead person. Prakalpyavastam kapilam siddha sankalpa namayim siddhim nabasi vidyam cha echa vidyadaradaya.
After this, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka as well as the inhabitants of Vidyadharloka transformed the great sage Kapila into a calf, and making the whole sky into a pot, they milk out specific yogic mystic powers beginning with Anima. Indeed, the inhabitants of Vidyadharloka acquired the art of flying in the sky.
Yeah, the Siddhas making Lord Kapila at the calf produced siddhis, Ashtasiddhis such as Anima, Mahima, Lagima, Prapti, Vasata, etc. at the milk. And the Vidyadharas making Lord Kapila at the calf produced knowledge of flying in the sky. Vidyadharas are known for flying in the sky by making sky at the pot. So like that. Later on, we read in the 6th canto that King, what was the name? He became Rudrasura, King Chitraketu. After performing austerities for 7 days, he had darshan of Lord Sankarsana, and then Lord Sankarsana blessed him to become the king of Vidyadharas. He was given an airplane. In that airplane, he was traveling in the sky from one place to other places. They are all Kecharas. They travel in the airplanes in the sky. So that is what is indicated here. That is what the Vidyadharas obtained from Mother Earth. Sankalpa Mayim Siddhi means Siddhi such as Anima. The sky was the part. Vidyam means the knowledge of the flying in the sky. That is obtained by the Vidyadharas from Mother Earth, so that they could continue to fly, being sitting in the respective airplanes within the sky here and there always.
Saying it means that Mother Earth has all this knowledge, she has all this power that she is giving to them. I'm still not able to understand how they get all this.
How Devatas are getting nectar, you got it? How they are getting?
Until the whole process will explain.
Prabhuji,
How
can
Asuras
you
will get.
repeat the question? Ask.
Prabhuji is asking, I did not understand how they are getting this. Human beings are getting food grains, that is direct procedure. The sages are getting knowledge.
They are getting the favorable circumstances from practicing.
But ultimately they are getting knowledge. They are not interested in the facilities.
Not from the mother.
If there is no proper facility on the Bharata Varsha, how will they get?
Indirectly.
Directly or indirectly. She is playing a role to provide them knowledge. And Devatas are getting nectar. Directly or indirectly. Mother is directly not giving nectar. Indirectly she is helping. And Asuras also get that Shura Asavam from the herbs only. It is not coming out of the blue. It is coming from the herbs only. The herbs will come from earth only. Okay. And then Gandharvas or Apsaras are getting the ability to sing and dance. But more important than they need a favorable circumstance. That is spring season. That is also from earth, lotus. Okay.
This was existing previously also. It is not existing.
It is a established procedure by Brahma. But when King Vena was there, everything stopped. King Vena did not allow anything to happen. We are reading about Vena. The same things were happening at the time of Hiranyakashipu, also at the time of Ravana also. When a king becomes religious, things will go out of order. So later on, one devotee will come and set rights the matter. So what is that matter? How does it go? It is mentioned here. These things will go on for rest of eternity. As long as the creation is there, it will go on like that. So like that.
Prabhuji, and the earth planet.
Okay, Earth. We cannot hear you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, can you hear now?
Yes.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is, Prabhuji, like whether really the earth planet is so very important that means even the upper planetary people, whatever their expertise are, they are trying to get it from the earth. And the lower planetary system where asuras and things are there, they are also trying to get whatever good things they want from the earth. So if
Yes. Earth is very important. Not even complete Earth. Only Bharata Varsha is very important. This we discussed in the third canto also. We are going to discuss in the fifth canto also. If you remember chapter 20, one of the last verses, after the class, you can also open and see. In one verse, after creating everyone, when Swayambhu, Manu and Saturupa were created, rest all became happy. That time they said that, my dear Brahma, now you have done the best thing. By creating Swayambhu Manu, the king of the Bhuloka, you have done the best thing. What is that? Through the means of Swayambhu Manu, you will establish the yajna. Through that only we'll get our food. Everyone created before Swayambhu Manu, including the Asuras, everyone will get food only through the means of king. Because the king has the special responsibility of performing yajna. If there is no yajna performed by the king with the help of all the human citizens, none of the living entity all over the universe can sustain for long. The human beings play an important role in the entire universal management. Canto 3, chapter 20, one of the last verses. Please read afterwards, all of you. So wherein all the great sages who were created before, they were saying that Aho etat jagat srishta sukrutam batate kritam. You have done sukruta. You have done so many things till now, but among all the things, this is the best thing that you have done. Pratishtita kriya yasmin. Because by this, by creating Swayambhu Manu, you have established the performance of yajna. What is the specialty of the yajna? Sakam annam adamahe. We will be able to eat the remnants of the sacrifice together. All of us will get food only if yajna is performed by the king of the earth. So that is the That is the specialty of the king and the specialty of the earth.
Prabhuji, is this the reason why the earth is placed midway, like between upper planetary and lower planetary? It's the midway.
I don't know all those things. Wherever it may be, upper, below, lower, wherever, it has a special significance. So that should be understood.
Okay, and that is why maybe means when we say no always that even if somebody goes to upper planetary system or Swarga or wherever Akshine Punya Martya Lokam Mission, so they again come to the earth. So earth is the base
Yes.
level thing, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. By piety one go upward, by impiety one may go downward, but finally one has to come here because the Bharata Varsha will provide favorable circumstances to go back, come back to Godhead in comparison to other places. Whatever endeavor a human being goes through in Bharata Varsha, if it is one time, the same person perform the same thing at other places, they need to perform 1,000 times more than this. That will be long seva. Recently we discussed when Devatas were there in their respective positions, they need to serve the Lord for one mantra period. Then they will go back home back to Godhead. But a human being for just 100 years only, if they practice bhakti seriously, they will go back home back to Godhead. There is a difference. That is the specialty of Bharata Varsha.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So that in one sense, everyone is sustained based on Prithvi. So that should be understood. Yes, Prabhu? अन्ये च मायिनो मायाम् अन्तर्धानाद्भुतात्मनाम् मयं प्रकल्प्यवस्थं ते दारणामयीम्.
Others also, the inhabitants of planets known as Kim Purush Lok, made the demon Maya into a calf, and they milked out mystic powers by which one can disappear immediately from another's vision and appear again in a different form.
Kinnaras, Kimpurushas made Maya the calf, produced milk. The astonishing trick of disappearance, Antardana, at the milk. The Kinnaras and Kimpurushas are known for Antardana. All these details will make sense if you remember what we discussed in chapter 20. The 8 category of superhuman beings were created by Lord Brahma with a special thing. The specialty of the Kinnaras Kimpurushas is to disappear at will. So that is what they got it from Mother Earth. The Kinnaras and Kimpurushas produced the astonishing trick of disappearing at will. The Kinnaras or Kimpurushas are known for Antardana. The Siddha Charana Vidyadharas are known for flying in the sky. Asuras are known for physical strength. Devatas are known for their superhumans only. They are also known for the physical strength, also their dedication to serve the Lord. And the sages are known for Vedic knowledges, tapasya. The human beings are known for eating food. That is what I said ना, human beings are like food only the main activity. वही बोलते हैं ना सब लोग पापी पेट का सवाल करके बोलते हैं ना सुबह से शाम तक काम क्यों कर रहे हैं किसके लिए कर रहे हैं काम बताओ ना out of the 4 activities eating sleeping mating and defending we spend most of the time for food only whole day our thought process goes after food only what will I eat in the breakfast what will I eat in the lunch what will I eat in the dinner what will I eat next week and this week next Saturday next weekend all these things huh पता नहीं what is what देखो so it's like that Eksharaksham bhutani pishasha pipitashanam bhutesha vastaduduhu kapale kshatrajasavam.
Then the yakshas, rakshasas, ghosts, and witches who are habituated to eating flesh transform Lord Shiva's incarnation Rudra, that is Bhutanath, into a calf and milk out beverages made of blood and put them in a pot made of skulls.
Yeah. Sometimes devotees wants to know the difference between the asuras and the rakshasas. Here it is clearly mentioned. Devatas are known for drinking nectar. Human beings are known for drinking food grains. Asuras are known for drinking surasakam. Rakshasas are known for eating flesh, especially the human flesh. All kinds of flesh, also human flesh. Such kind of people are known as asuras. And also Bhuta Preta Pishashas, Asur Rakshasas and Rakshasas and Yakshas Rakshasas, Bhuta Preta Pishashas, they kept Lord Shiva at the calf. Yeah, Lord Shiva is their Lord. Lord Shiva is the Lord of the Bhuta Preta Pishashas and Yaksha Rakshasas. They kept Lord Shiva at the calf and they got liquor made of blood in a skull. Skull is their pot. Blood is their food. मुझे भी नहीं सुनाई दे रहा, इनको क्या सुनाई देगा? So Lord, since Lord Shiva is their Lord, they kept Lord Shiva at the calf and they got whatever they want. The understanding what I meant is, what I understood is skull and blood. That means they eat away the flesh of a living entity directly as it is. They don't go through the process of cooking. So when the live person they start eating, there is flesh also, there is blood also, which is contained by the bones. So like that. That is the understanding.
Contained by what, Prabhuji?
Skull. Bones.
Bones. Okay.
The bones are only keeping our body intact, na?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that way.
So again,
the flesh and blood is kept intact in a particular body through the strength given by the bones only. So the bones are the part. The food is the flesh and blood for the Rakshasas and Bhuta Preta Pishashas.
Prabhuji, but again, here also it is difficult to understand because Lord Shiva, even though in the form of Bhutanath, he's a devotee, right? So why would a devotee?
See, Mataji, don't see bad here. They are meant to eat that. They need to eat that only.
No, I'm not saying bad, Prabhuji. I'm trying to understand why the Mother Earth is providing bad things.
Mother Earth is the mother of everyone, so she only has to provide. This is not bad. For human beings, it is bad. For Asuras, that is good. For Rakshasas, it is good.
Like you mean how we eat food for them? They
don't extrapolate your own thought process on everyone. You cannot feed khichdi to tiger. That is cruelty upon tiger. Tiger should be fed flesh only. Tiger should not be given milk and sprouts. Tiger is meant to eat flesh only. And Mother Earth is the mother of tiger also. So Mother Earth will provide food in the form of flesh for tiger.
Okay.
Like that, Mother Earth is also mother of these Rakshasas. In one sense, mother of Rakshasas. She will provide whatever food they need. She will provide.
Okay, and whatever the category is, out of that category, one who is devotee or close to devotee, that is made as a calf to get the thing.
Not close to devotee, best of the devotees.
Okay, yeah.
Lord Shiva, Prahlad Maharaj, all these are best of the devotees.
Yes.
In that particular category of species.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So whatever we get from Mother Earth, there has to be a devotee connection, or one has to be a devotee to get the benefits, whatever one requires.
That's why I'm always repeating, the yajna should be performed by the king, and king only performs yajna if he is a devotee. If he is a devotee king or religious king, otherwise they will not perform.
Yes. Yes,
so, try not to put our own ideology on everyone. So this is bad, that is bad. This is as per human ideology. They are not human beings. They can't sustain with human food. So it is like that. Garuda is also a devotee. He is a carrier of Lord Vishnu, but Garuda eats fish. It is completely all right. There is no fault in that. You cannot say, is a Vaishnava is supposed to eat only bhoga offered to Lord Vishnu only. That kind of rules does not apply for Garuda and other species. That rule is only for the human beings.
He eats snakes also, no, Prabhuji?
Huh?
Garuda. Garuda eats
Huh?
snakes also, no?
Snakes also, but I'm giving an example. We should not apply our rules upon them. It is better to follow our own rules properly. Instead of asking about why they are doing like this, why they are doing like this.
Or regulative principles are for the human being category.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
तथाहयो दण्डसूका सर्पनागाश्च तक्षकम् विधायावस्थं दुदुदुर्बिलपात्रे विशम्पया.
Thereafter, cobras and snakes without hoods, large snakes, scorpions, and many other poisonous animals took poison out of the planet Earth as their milk and kept this poison in snake holes. They made a calf out of Takshaka.
Yeah. The snakes. This is also mentioned in the third kind of Runde chapter. The snakes are also created by Brahma at that time. The snakes with hoods, scorpions, and the snakes with hoods, nagas, sarpas, etc. Sorry, snakes without hoods and snakes with hoods and the scorpions making takshaka at the calf produced poison at the milk with their mouth at the pot. The snakes and scorpions are known for the poison. That is what they produce from Mother Earth, keeping takshaka at the calf. Here you may question, if Takshaka is not a devotee, is a demon like that. But Takshaka is their leader. He is religious among the snakes. In the snakes community, he is the religious person. Ahaya are the snakes without hoods. Sarpa are the snakes with hoods. Nagas are the snakes with many hoods. Ananta Naga. And with the offspring of Kadru. The Kadru gave birth to all the different variety of Nagas, Sarpas and Ahayas, etc. Dandasuka are scorpions. Bilapatre means their mouths. The snakes kept poison in their mouths. The scorpion kept poison in their tail. So that is not clearly mentioned about scorpions, but because snakes are many, so their mouth is mentioned. Next. Pashavo yava samkshiram vastam krutva cha govrusham aranyapatre chadukshan mrugendrena cha damstina krauvyada pranina kravyam duduhu sve kalevare suparna vasta vihagas charam cha charameva cha.
The four-legged animals like the cows made a calf out of the bull who carries Lord Shiva and made a milking pot out of the forest. Thus they got fresh green grasses to eat. Ferocious animals like tigers transform a lion into a calf, and thus they were able to get flesh for milk. The birds made a calf out of Garuda and took milk from the planet Earth in the form of moving insects and non-moving plants and grasses.
The cattle, household animals, making Nandi at the calf, produced grasses at the milk. Among all the household animals, the bull is best. Among all the bulls, Nandi is the best. So okay, they kept Nandi at the calf. They got the grasses, what they need. Carnivorous animals making the lion their calf produced the flesh of other living beings in the forest at the milk, with the forest at the pot. The birds making Garuda at the calf produced insects and fruit at the milk, with their stomachs at the pot. So three categories of beings are mentioned. Household animals, which are herbivorous, forest animals, which are carnivorous, and the birds. So it's like that. Yavasam means grass. Govrusham means Lord Shiva's bull. The animals made the lion the calf. The forest animals made the lion the calf. Kravyam means meat. And Suparna is Garuda. charam means insects, acharam means fruit. So the birds have food in the form of charam and acharam. The insects, some birds eat on insects, some birds eat on fruits. So in that way they got their food. Vatavastha vanaspatya prutagrasamayam paya hirayo imavadvastha nana datun swasanushu.
The trees made a calf out of the banyan tree, and thus they derived milk in the form of many delicious juices. The mountains transformed the Himalayas into a calf, and they milked a variety of minerals into a pot made of the peaks of hills.
Yeah. You see now, even the trees also making banyan tree, Vatavruksha, at the calf, they produced sap at the milk. Prutak rasamayam paya. Paya means milk. Different trees give different category of milk. That is their milk. In that sense, sap is called their milk. That is what they obtained from Mother Earth. The mountains making Himalayas at the calf produced various minerals. Nana Datum with the plateau at the pot. So it's like that. Even the mountains also made the plateau at the pot and the Himalayas at the calf, and they got all the minerals in the form of milk. And the trees got sap in the form of milk, keeping banyan tree at the calf. So like that, everyone got whatever they need for their sustenance, keeping mother as an instrument. Through the medium of mother, they got everything, whatever they need for their sustenance. So in that way. Sarve swamukya vastena स्वे स्वे पात्रे पृथक्पया सर्वकामादुगं पृथ्वीं दुदुः पृथुदावदावितम्.
The planet Earth The planet Earth supplied everyone his respective food. During the time of King Prthu, the earth was fully under the control of the king. Thus, all the inhabitants of the earth could get their food supply by creating various types of calves and putting their particular types of milk in various pots.
Yeah. Thus, all other living beings, making their chief person as the calf, produced various things as milk, whatever they need for their sustenance, in their respective parts from the yielding earth, who was dedicated to Prthu. Because Prthu promised that he will not punish if she will give milk. So after with that promise, Mother Earth started giving everything that they needed for everyone. Because it is Prthu's responsibility to make sure that everyone gets what they need. So Prthu is the king of the entire Bhuloka. It is his responsibility to make sure that everyone gets. So Mother Earth is providing everyone they needed out of respect for King Prthu. So in that way, this verse summarizes all other beings not mentioned. They made the head of their leader society, their species, the calf, the head of their species at the calf, and they produced what they obtained whatever they needed. So like that. So here is a chart, a table, which talks about who got what, in which verse the details are mentioned, everything is there. So looking at this slide, we'll take a break and we will meet after a few minutes. Correction. Hare Krishna, devotees are there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So here is the summary of what we discussed till now. I think you have gone through. So here the milkman who milked out Mother Earth in the form of a cow. This is the milk. The milk is basically the what sustains them. That is what they get out from the Mother Earth. And calf represents the best of the devotees among that community. And pot is where they can store the food from which they can get the food. Either way. From which, like for example, for animals, the household animals, they get food from the grazing field. So here grazing field, that is where they need food in the grass. Grass is the milk, but grass is available only in the grazing field. That is the part. So for some, from where they get, and for some, where they keep it. For example, snakes are there. Where are the snakes? Snakes and scorpions. The milk is poison. They keep it in the mouth only. So it's like that. They make it and keep it there. So something like that. So all these things are different things are mentioned. So this indicates that what nourishes whom. Different people need something that nourishes them regularly. Our nourishment is based on the food grains which are coming from the various plants. The food grains, vegetables and fruits, etc. They all come from the plants. The sages are nourished by the Vedic literatures, Vedas, Vedic verses. And the methods mentioned, austerities mentioned in the Vedic literature. Devatas are nourished by Somarasa. Daisyas are nourished by Surasavam. Gandharvas and Apsaras are nourished by singing and dancing. Pitrus are nourished by Kavya, the Shraddha rites. Siddhas are nourished by Siddhis. Vidyadharas are nourished by flying. Kimpurushas are nourished by disappearance. Yaksha Rakshasas and Go Bhutaprita Pishas are nourished by eating flesh and blood. Snakes are nourished by poison. Herbivorous animals are nourished by grass. Carnivorous are nourished by the flesh of the herbivorous animals. Birds are nourished by insects and fruits. Trees are nourished by the sap. Mountains are nourished by the minerals. So when I was reading through these trees and sap, so I was thinking like that, if a tree is not giving something as a result, the tree is not used only. No one wants to keep the tree for long. The sap is like one of the useful product of the tree, out of the tree. And the sap itself will nourish the tree. For the tree to get nourished, the sap is required. Whatever water the roots take from the ground, it is converted to the sap and it goes all over the tree, without which it cannot be nourished. Sometimes the sap only comes out in the form of flowers, fruits, and the liquids. Tall tree will give some liquid, etc. They are also called sap. So in that way. So this is how through King Prthu, because he is the king, he is representing the Manu for that Manvantara period. It is his responsibility to make sure that everyone gets whatever they need. And this is how everyone is getting water they need through the via medium of Mother Earth. So in that way. Evam Prthu Adayo Prithvim Annada Swannam Atmana Dohavastadi Vedena Kshirabedam Kurudvaha.
My dear Vidura, chief of the Kurus, in this way, King Pruthu and all the others who subsist on food created different types of cows and milk out their respective eatables. Thus, they received their various foodstuffs, which were symbolized as milk.
Yeah. Oh Vidura, thus Prthu and others eat food, milked different milks, their desired food from the earth with different parts and different calves. The previous chart is like what is this verse is talking all about. Like just like Prthu got the milk, like everyone got the milk by keeping different calves and different milk pots and different milkmen. They obtained whatever they needed for their survival. And they are going to obtain also. They have obtained in the past, they are obtaining now. They will also obtain in the future. This is the same procedure will be followed for the entire time period of the maintenance. So this is the system of maintenance for the entire living entities living in the entire universe. ततो महीपति प्रीता सर्वकामादुगां पृथु दुदित्रे चकारे मां प्रेम्णा दुहितृवस्तला.
Thereafter, King Prthu was very satisfied with the planet Earth, for she sufficiently supplied all food to various living entities. Thus, he developed an affection for the planet Earth, just as if she were his own daughter.
King Prthu, the king, became fond of earth, the supplier of all food for all the different variety of living entities, and out of affection for her, made her as his daughter. He was affectionate to his daughter, Duhitru Vastala. He accepted Prthu as his daughter and continued to show special affection for Mother Earth eventually. It was inappropriate to take her as a wife. So why Prthu accepted her as a daughter, that is being indicated here. It was inappropriate to take her as a wife, since he milked her for food with his own hands. Since King Prthu milked her with his own hands, so he cannot accept her as his wife. It was inappropriate to take her as his mother, since he threatened to punish her with his arrows in his hand. Since no one should punish mother, so from that point of view, it is mentioned like this. Finally, when affection appeared towards Mother Earth, because out of promise, Mother Earth produced everything needed for everyone, out of respect for King Prthu. So he kind of developed a special affection for Mother Earth. Then she accepted her as his daughter. So that is understanding. This is why he accepted as a daughter. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, like that's what this whatever explanation is mentioned now, it explains to some extent, but like we see sometimes Lord forms one type of relation with earth, and at other times, like in Varahadev incarnation, he formed the relation as a husband-wife, and then Bhaumasur was born, and here we are seeing that he's forming the relation with earth as his daughter. So how we understand this? Like this Lord can do anything because he's a biggest Swarat. He can do anything like that. We understand.
That is Achintya. Though he is same Lord everywhere, but he also acts differently. He behaves as if he is a different person. So in that way we can see it. No issue.
Okay.
Churnayan Swadanushkotya Giri Kutani Rajarat Bhumandalam Idam Vainya Prayas Chakre Samam Vibhu.
After this, the king of all kings, Maharaj Prthu, leveled all rough places on the surface of the globe by breaking up the hills with the strength of his bow. By his grace, the surface of the globe almost became flat.
The king crumbled the mountains to dust with the tip of his bow, Dhanushkotya. We discussed previously also. Lord Rama broke the bridge that was going to Lanka with the tip of his bow. Because they were flying on the airplane, the Pushpa Vimana coming back from Lanka. Vibhishan requested, my dear Lord, please disconnect this Lanka from Bharatavarsha. Otherwise, the Rakshasas keep coming to Bharatavarsha and trouble people here. So, being seated in the airplane, extending his bow, with one edge of the bow, Lord Rama hit on the bridge. The bridge broke into pieces and submerged into the ocean. That is called Dhanushkotya. That place is even today called Dhanushkoti. Similarly, Prthu, with the end of the bow, hitting the mountain with the end of the bow. He pulverized the mountains and made the earth flat so that there will be proper water flow. There can be some reservoirs made for the storage of the water so that the stored water can be used for future usage, and agriculture can happen with the extended flat land. If land is uneven, neither water stores nor agriculture can be done. Land should be flat so that they can perform agriculture, because the food cycle should continue in a sustainable manner. For that to continue for a long time, the earth should be flat and people can perform agriculture and they can get food grains sufficiently. That was the whole idea. Atasmin Bhagavan Vainya Prajanam Vrittida Pita Nivasan Kalpayam Chakre Tatra Tatra Yatarhata.
To all the citizens of the state, King Prthu was as good as a father. Thus, he was visibly engaged in giving them proper subsistence and proper employment for subsistence. After leveling the surface of the globe, he earmarked different places for residential quarters, is as much as they were desirable.
Yeah. Bhagavan Vainya, the Supreme Lord who appeared as the son of Vena, the father of the entire progeny, Prajanam Pita, who is the supplier of the maintenance, Vrittida, because the people also asked, for now give us food, and for us to continue to live, give us a occupation of livelihood. Otherwise, we cannot be sustained. So Prthu immediately gave food by his own hands, giving them charity, and he leveled the surface of the earth so that they can be engaged in the agricultural activities in the future. So they will have regular food supply. With the leveled land, they will have water storage and the facility for agriculture. So their maintenance will be taken care by agriculture. Thus, he is the supplier of the maintenance. And after that, food is there. They also need proper facilities to stay. That he also arranged. He made houses, suitable houses for the citizens. Nivasan Kalpayam Chakre. He constructed suitable residences for all the different category of living entities, here and there on the surface of this earth. Ata asmin tatra tatra. Suitable to the people. Yata harahata. Not that same type of construction for everyone. According to their qualification, accordingly, the facilities to stay are provided. Not the communism. Everyone is same, not like that. According to their arhata qualification, they are provided with the living facilities. All these things king did personally. So what all he did, that is mentioned in the next verse. Graman pura pattanani durgani vividani cha goshan vrajan sashibiran akaran keta karvatan.
In this way, the king founded many types of villages, settlements, stables for the animals, and places for the royal camps, mining places, agricultural towns, and mountain villages.
Yeah, you see what all he did here. He produced villages, Graman. Even today also we use the word Grama. Grama Panchayati, the village Panchayat. Towns and cities, Pura and Pattanani. In our childhood, we used to call Hyderabad as Patnam. Somebody going to Hyderabad means they are going to Patnam. Nagaram. Not necessarily capital, big Nagaram, big city. And also we constructed forts of various types. Durgani Vividanicha. Durga, the fort construction. Cowherd villages, Goshan. Cowsheds, Vrajan. Vraja means cowsheds, where the cowsheds are constructed along with the living facility for the caretakers. And cowherd villages are the Goshan. So Vraja is the combination of Gosha and Vraja. Vrajabhumi. Both are there. And the military camps, Sa Shibiran, Akaran, mines, and agricultural mountain villages. Kheta Karvatan. One may think, or we hear in our school days also, this systematized civilization is all a recent innovation. The people in the past are all very primitive. They don't know how to live and all. Later on, we also read in our school days that what is that? Hindus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-daro, Mesopotamian. So they said, okay, no, civilization was there also. Later on, they said that Dwaraka civilization, finding out artifacts of Dwaraka and city constructions and all. Okay, Dwaraka time also a lot of civilization was there like that. So many supporting and opposing statements were there in our school texts many times. But here you see, all these are happening during Swayambhuva Manvantara. Not recent, not 10,000 years back, 5,000 years back, or 3,000 years back. Swayambhuva Manvantara period. He considered all these things very systematically. Everything that we see today, everything was there that time also. Huh? हाँ, but बीच में कुछ प्रलय हुआ नहीं ना, that is छोटा प्रलय, but still things are happening. So what is the meaning of all these things? Grama means small villages without marketplaces. Very small villages without dedicated marketplace. Pura are villages that have markets. The difference between Grama and Pura is Grama is only small village type of thing, and Pura is village plus marketplaces. I love shopping malls, some general stores, etc. are there in that place, in that sense. And then Patanani. When a Pura becomes large, it is called Patana. Thus, King Prthu also made various forts. He made various Durgani Vividanicha. Various forts are required so that the Antapura, the main in the city where the king is living, other soldiers are living, they need to stay in the fort. That should be Durga, that should be properly protected. So in that way. Bruhaspati says, Audakam Parthavam Varksham Arinam Danavam Tata. A fortress can be protected from mountains, can be protected from trees, can be protected from barren land or desert. A fortress, wherever it is there, it should be able to provide everything, even though when there is problems from outside, etc., etc. So in that way, even if there is a flood, the flood should not harm the fortress. The normal houses may be flooded by the excess water, but the fortress should be strong. So in that way. Goshan means the places of the cow herds. The people, the cow herd men, wherever they live, that is called Gosha, cow herd village. Vrajan means the places for the cows, the cow sheds, etc., etc. Shibiran means the places where the soldiers take training, they stay, etc. Akaran means the mines for producing gold and silver. Keta means agricultural villages near the mountains. So that is understanding. Why specifically agricultural villages near the mountains? Because from the top of the mountain, there will be water streams continuously coming down. Agriculture means there should be water facility continuously required. So agriculture can be done on the bank of the river or at the valleys of the mountain. So where the water is continuously streaming down, so they can do nice agriculture. So in that way, these are all the different things that our King Prthu constructed for the benefit of people. So then, Parak Prtorihya Naivesha Puragrama Kalpana Yata Sukam Vasantisma Tatra Tatra Kutobaya.
Before the reign of King Prthu, there was no planned arrangement for different cities, villages, pasturing grounds, etc. Everything was scattered, and everyone constructed his residential quarters according to his own convenience. However, since King Pruthu plans were made for towns and villages.
Yeah. Before the time of Pruthu, there was no arrangement of towns and villages. People lived here and there as they liked without fear. But now he kind of specifically arranged who should stay where, what they should do, etc. Proper facilities are given to all the people according to their respective occupation, and they live at their respective places and they do their occupation and they live happily and prosperously. So giving respect to everyone according to their respective occupation. So Pruthu made all the arrangements for everyone. That's why Pruthu is called as the first king. In the beginning of this section, in the 13th chapter, verse number 19, we talked about Pruthu as the first king. That time I mentioned this. The sages whose words are thunderbolts, angry at Vena, cursed him because the people were without a king. The population was tormented by thieves. That the sages churned the right hand of the Vena, of the dead Vena. Pruthu, the first king of the earth, was born as a portion of Lord Narayana. So Pruthu is called as Adhyakshitishvaraha. So from the churning of Vena's hand, King Pruthu appeared. He is called as the first king because he established towns and cities systematically. That was one of the special activity of King Pruthu. Okay. Any questions till now?
No, Brother.
Okay. So that was about King Pruthu kind of extracting food grains from Mother Earth. Because the bards, when they said that King Pruthu chased after Mother Earth and then later on he milked from Earth, Vidura asked the question, please tell me why it happened like that. Then they also told that during the king's 100th sacrifice, Indra stole the horse. So now for that, the answer is given. The next two chapters talks about how and why Indra stole the horse and what did Pruthu do as a response to that. That is the subject matter for the chapter 19 and 22 chapters will be discussed about that. So in the 19th chapter, there is a description about how Indra stealing the sacrificial horse created heretics, apadharmas, apasampradayas, and how Lord Brahma stopped the priests from killing Indra. Yes, we will discuss later on. It comes at the end of the chapter. So King Pruthu will perform 100 sacrifices. During the 100th one, out of insecurity feeling, Indra comes and steals away the horse. So every time King Pruthu's son chased after Indra, out of fear of him, King Indra would leave behind the dress he was wearing. He was coming in the disguise of a sannyasi, so-called sannyasi. So because of that, there were so many apasamradhas created. So things were going out of order when Pruthu got up to kill Indra. The Brahmanas who were performing sacrifice, they said, no, you don't have to get up. We will do it, needful. They were offering mantras to invite Indra into the fire. Just like Janamejaya was performing Sapegna to invite Takshaka into the fire. So when they were about to chant mantra and offer oblations to invite Indra, Brahma came and stopped them. That is the subject matter of this chapter. Maitreya Uvacha Atadikshata Raja Atadikshata Raja tu Hayamedashatena sa Brahmavarte Manokshetre Yatra Prachi Saraswati.
The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, King Pruthu initiated the performance of 100 horse sacrifices at the spot where the river Saraswati flows towards the east. This piece of land is known as Brahmavarta and it was controlled by Swayambhu Manu.
Yeah. At Swayambhuva Manu's place called Brahmavarta. This was came in the third canto, 22nd chapter. After giving their daughter Devahuti in marriage to Kardamuni, it is said that Manu came back to his own capital known as Brahmavarta, and they lived very peacefully and he performed all so many religious activities, devotional activities, and he compiled Manusmriti, etc. All those things are mentioned there. That is where Brahmavarta came. Again coming here. At Swayambhuva Manu's place called Brahmavarta, where the Saraswati river turns east, King Prthu prepared to perform 100 hour sacrifices. Hayameda Shetena. He decided to perform 100 sacrifices on the bank of river Saraswati at a place known as Brahmavarta. Yes, Prabhu.
Why it's free? Yeah, thank you.
Horse sacrifice is the important sacrifice the king is supposed to perform for the prosperity of the kingdom.
Here, king can.
Only king should do. That is the king's responsibility, being supported by all the citizens.
And qualifications are there, but it is given so much of importance in all this. But it's not the.
No, not only Bhagavatam, Mahabharata also it is there, Ramayana also is there. Every scripture you take, Ashwamedha sacrifice should be performed by the king.
It is the highest sacrifice that is.
Not highest. It is the responsibility, is the important duty of the king, that's all. It is king's duty. If one is king, they should perform this sacrifice.
It seems that not everybody can do it because only very few kings can do it.
Everyone is not the main king, no? The main king is the responsible for everything. The sages did not pray when the human beings are born. The sages only prayed or glorified Brahma only when Swayambhuva Manu is born. It started from Manu only, na?
Also perform the 100 sacrifices.
They may do 100, they may not do 100, but they need to do something. Not necessarily that everyone has to do 100, but they should do continuously. That's why if you read Ramayana, Lord Rama lived for more than 11,000 years. Some say 13,000, some say 11,000. But in any case, out of which he stayed with Mother Sita and all only few years. At the age of 24, they went to forest. They were in the forest for 14 years. They came back. Eventually, Mother Sita became pregnant. She was sent to, again, abandoned to forest. 11 years she was staying in the forest. After that, she entered into Mother Earth. All this happened maybe within 50-60 years. But he continued to live for another 11,000 years. But throughout his life, he was continuously performing Ashwamedha sacrifices, one after the other, one after the other.
Approximately 11,000 years.
Not approximately, more than 11,000 years. Up to 13,000 years. You take average 12,000 years. Continuously, the yajna was going on. One after the other, one after the other. Okay, that is the principal duty of a king. And that too, it was Treta Yuga. That is the principal sadhana in Treta Yuga. The King Prthu is also from Treta Yuga. So it should go on. Not only Treta Yuga, even Kali Yuga also should go on. Since we cannot do fire sacrifice, Prabhupada always say, Ekjanan Japa Yajnasmi. At least chant Hare Krishna. That will do the needful. The place made by the Devatas between the Saraswati and Drishadvati river is called Brahmavarta. So what is Brahmavarta? Where it is located? It is a place between Saraswati river and Drishadvati river. I don't know what is Drishadvati. I think Ganga only. It is a place between Saraswati and Ganga is called Brahmavarta. Hayameda Shetana means for the purpose of performing 100 hour sacrifices. It could be some other stream of Ganga, also Drishadvati river, but the area between these two is called as Brahmavarta. It is Brahmavarta is the modern day Bittur. It is very close to Kanpur. So that is where the capital of Swayambhuva Manu and Uttanapada, Dhruva Maharaj and his descendants, even now, Prthu's capital also is there in the Brahmavarta only. So that's how we can understand.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, usually you say Manu stay in Ramika Varshana, but here you're saying Swayambhuva Manu stayed in Brahmavarta.
See, Mataji, there are two things.
Yeah.
For example, Swayambhuva Manu. He appeared from Brahma. He married. He begot 5 children. He got their marriages. He sent his sons to Gurukul. They studied nicely. They returned home. They got them married. Then they gave then he gave the responsibility to his sons. Okay. After giving the responsibility to the next generation, the king will never stay in the home. They will go to forest and perform Varnashrama, Vanaprastha duties.
Okay.
So generally, any king, generally they go to like we discussed about Dhruva Maharaj also. After his son became eligible, he gave the kingdom to his son. And then he went to Vanaprastha order to Greater Himalayas and performed austerities and went back to Godhead. That is the general system. But Manu is the responsible person for the entire Manvantara period. Before that Manvantara period ends, he cannot go back to Godhead.
Okay.
So he goes to the what Varsha? Ramyaka Varsha. So he goes to Ramyaka Varsha and he stays there performing Vanaprastha duties till the end of the Manvantara period.
Okay.
So when there is a problem, he will come down again, settle the matter. He will not become the king, but he will settle the matter and again he will go back to Vanaprastha 1 and performs Vanaprastha duties.
Okay. And one more question,
Only-
Prabhuji. No, you continue.
Only Manu does this, but not his successors. The Manuputras will not do this.
Okay.
When they go to forest, they practice bhakti and they go back to Godhead. They don't have this responsibility to stay till the end of the Manvantara period.
Okay. So all the Manus, they go to Ramyaka Varsha.
Yes. All the Manus for that Manvantara period, they go to Ramyaka Varsha, they stay there performing tapasya as part of their Vanaprastha duty. Along with, that Vanaprastha duty itself is their bhakti. And then when the tenure is over, when Manvantara is over, then they will go back to Godhead.
Okay. One more question, Prabhuji. You said Prthu was the first emperor of this world, Karki. What does it mean? Because there are many kings. Dhruva Maharaj was a king before that. Swayambhu Manu was a king. Like that we hear. So what does it mean when you say Prthu Maharaj is the emperor of this?
No, it is mentioned clearly. Before
Yeah,
that,
it is
people were
mentioned.
living wherever they want.
Yeah.
But here, as the principal responsibility of the king, he provided proper facilities for the people to stay according to their duties.
Okay.
The farmers would stay on the in the foothills of the mountain so that they can do agriculture very nicely on the banks of the rivers or reservoirs.
Yeah.
And the cowherd men will stay where the grass is abundantly grown up, where the cows can stay peacefully, not in the forest, but in the area where grazing field is enough abundantly available, like that. The people,
So does it mean
according to their
before they were
occupation,
not?
they will stay.
But before that, that means in Dhruva Maharaj period and all these things were not divided, segregated like this.
Yes, that's how we can understand.
Okay. Thank you, Ru.
Basically, he made proper arrangement for everyone and everything. That's why he's called as first king. Tat abhipretya Bhagavan karma tishayam atmana Shatakraturunamamrushe Prutor yajna mahostavam.
When the most powerful Indra, the king of heaven, saw this, he considered the fact that King Prthu was going to exceed him in fruitive activities. Thus, Indra could not tolerate the great sacrificial ceremonies performed by King Prthu.
Thinking that Prthu would excel him, powerful Indra, Bhagavan Shatakratu na Mamrushe. Here Indra is also called as Bhagavan. Kindly remember this. We will discuss about it later on. Bhagavan Indra. Shatakratu means Indra. Indra is generally called as Shatakratu or Shakra. Sa from here, Ka, Kra from here is generally called as Shakra or Shatakratu. The one who performs 100 sacrifices will be qualified to become Indra. 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices with proper religious conduct, with complete dedication, they will become Indra. So he performed 100, he became Indra. So now he is worried. His record will be broken by somebody else. So Indra could not tolerate the great sacrifice of King Prthu. Because Prthu also performing 100, mera record chala jayega. So he kind of became insecure. Atmana means more than him. So thinking that King Prthu will perform 100 sacrifices, even he may continue more also, then his record will be more than my record. Something like that. Or because if he completes 100 sacrifices, I'll be removed from my post and he will be given my post. So he is worried about that. So that is what the understanding here. So the Prabhupada writes, so envy or insecurity is the symptom of this material world. So in the Vaishnava community, there is no place for envy or insecurity, because the Vaishnavas are supposed to be inculcating the Vaikuntha mentality. In Vaikuntha, there is no such kind of mentalities. So like that, Prabhupada kind of explains in the purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for nirmastaras, non-envious people. So therefore, it is meant for those who are completely nirmastara, non-envious. In other words, one who is not free from the contamination of envy cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, however, if someone exists, someone excels another person, if someone excels some other person, the devotee who is excelled thinks how fortunate the other person is to be advancing in devotional service. Such non-envy is typical of Vaikuntha atmosphere. However, when one is envious of his competitor, that is material, the devatas posted in the material world are not exempt from envy. So like that, Prabhupada writes. Yatra yajnapati sakshat Bhagavan Haririshvara Anvabhuyata Sarvatma Sarvaloka Guru Prabhum.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is present in everyone's heart as the Super Soul. And he is the proprietor of all planets and the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. He was personally present at the sacrifice made by King Prthu.
So from verse number 3 to 9 talks about at the end of every sacrifice, what was the outcome? How the yajna is concluded. That is being indicated in all these verses. It says that in each of the sacrifice, the master of the sacrifice, the Supreme Lord, the soul of all beings, the Guru of the whole universe, Lord Vishnu personally appeared. At the culmination of every sacrifice, Lord Vishnu personally appeared. Seven verses show how King Prthu surpassed Indra in execution of 100 yajnas. So next, Anvito Brahma Sarvabhyam Lokapalai Sahanugai Upagiyamano Gandharvair Munibir Chapsarasoganai.
When Lord Vishnu appeared in the sacrificial arena, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the chief predominating personalities of every planet, as well as their followers, came with him. When he appeared on the scene, the residents of Gandharva Lok, the great sages, and the residents of Apsara Lok all praised him.
Okay, before going further, one small question. What are the duties of a king? First, how? Why? Yeah, you people are thoroughly fed. Anyone from online? What are the different duties of a king?
To take the citizens on the path of spiritual knowledge so that they can go back to Godhead.
Right. Fully spiritual. No, before that, that is okay. That is the ultimate duty. But before there could be some minor duties also.
To maintain the law and order, to see that
Okay,
the citizens get employment, as we saw in the King Prthu's case.
Okay. Any other things? When the king need to make sure that law and order is maintained, what is the need for maintaining the law and order?
Protect them from various enemies.
Why there is a need for protecting various people from various enemies? Huh?
Because there are thieves and rogues also.
Why there will be thieves?
Some people don't like that.
That is too general, but I want some specific answers. Why somebody becomes a thief?
Because he wants to gain something for his sense enjoyment without working much.
Okay, that may be from the modern context point of view, but seeing the scenario in the past.
To provide for the people in the state whatever they require. So one of the
So I mean,
duties.
I would see like this. They don't have what they need. They see somebody else has. They want it for themselves. So modern day thievery, it could be out of greed. But in the past, the thievery is only out of need. They would not steal more than they need.
Yeah, no, no,
Huh? In general, I'm saying, Prabhu, if they are not getting what they need, then only they may take to thievery. Not in Kali Yuga, but I'm talking about other yugas. Otherwise, people are, if they are getting what they need, they are peaceful, they are prosperous. They don't take to the occupation of thievery and etc. So King Pruthu constructed all the cities, towns, villages, sheds, everything, so that people have proper occupation, proper livelihood, and then they are prosperous and they are respected according for what they are doing. So where is the need for thievery? Then where will be the need for law enforcement, law and order? In one sense, not required. Yeah. In that sense, the king is free from the struggle of looking after law and order, so that he will have more time to focus on performing yajna. So, from as a human effort, he provided proper facilities for them to stay and perform some occupation. And also, he is also invoking the divine mercy by continuously performing yajna. We need human effort also. We also need the divine grace. For that, he is doing yajna. These are the two duties of a king. When these two duties are not performed properly, then there are miscreants. Then there is a need of law and order. The king who is busy with law and order only, he will not be able to do other things. When a king becomes busy with law and order, he cannot perform yajna. When a king does not have so much problem with law and order, then he can peacefully perform yajna. This is understood based on the Puranas and Itihasas. You can read it. So nowadays, the rulers are busy with law and order. So we don't see this principle of yajna implemented so much. So that's how, I mean, while preparing for the class, this is what I understood. I thought like that. I thought of sharing. Only if the king is at peace of mind and proper, he can focus on performing yajna. If there is so much anxiety about maintaining the law and order everywhere, where and when he will perform yajna? It is very difficult.
see, Prabhu is crazy. Yes. For 2.5 years, he's getting to do what is he do.
So it's like that.
Hare Krishna,
That's
Prabhu.
why, yes, Mataji.
So you mean to say that there was no greed in Treta Yuga and Satyuga and all those things? Dwapara Yuga and all?
I would say no excessive greed. Greed may be there, maybe little bit. If there is their
No.
need is 100%, they may have 10% greed, but not 1:1000, something like that. Yeah. If whatever they need, they are getting, they are satisfied with that. Why do they need more and more? But in Kali Yuga, it is opposite. If the need is 10%, the greed is 1000%.
No,
So,
I was thinking of example of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu and all. They were all very greedy for power and everything, isn't it? So that was all happened in Treta.
see, wait. We are not talking about asuras. We are talking about human beings.
Okay, only human beings.
Hiranyaksha,
Prthu.
Hiranyakashipu, they are asuras.
No, but what I can't understand is you say Prthu Maharaj milk the earth for all those people also, demons and devatas and all those people. So I was under the impression Prthu Maharaj is in charge of the entire this thing, universe, where he's in.
No,
he has to
he's not in charge. He is the in charge only for the Bhumandala, but
Okay.
he is responsible for the maintenance of everyone. That's what we are discussing in the third canto of the chapter.
He is
Aho
responsible for
eta
maintenance.
jagasrishta sukrutam batate kritam pratishrita kriya yasmin sakam annam dadamahe. By creating Manu, Lord Brahma established the process of sacrifice by which everyone else will get their food. This is the interrelation among all the species in the universe.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu.
Performing yajna is the main responsibility of the king. That's all. That only will give food to everyone. In the last class, we were discussing that the sages have mentioned that agriculture should be done for the maintenance in this life. Yajna should be performed for the future spiritual progress. So these are the two important occupations. Now, I'm sorry to say this, since all of us are in Mumbai, now how much percentage of Indians are performing agriculture? Shastra says agriculture is the main medium of current maintenance. How many of us are doing that agriculture for our current maintenance? We are doing some other occupation, but depend on agriculture, which is done by minority of people. If this continues further, I mean, lot of what is called this surveys. It is already current in the West, America and all. Agriculture is also an industry now. What they are called corporates. Agriculture is also a corporate business in America. That is what will happen maybe 1 or 2 decades later in India also. So
Even here,
already
it is already there. It's already there. You have big companies like ITC and all having large, they buy large farms and they make use of it. It's corporate.
I mean to say it may be there in the cities and adjacent cities, suburbans and all, but it has not gone to villages till now. But eventually everywhere it becomes. Maybe in a century or two, whole India becomes corporate agriculture. Because even I observe whatever previously before, I mean, I came to Bombay, I used to visit my village very frequently in my childhood. 95% of villagers are doing agriculture at that time. Now I see very few are doing agriculture. If village had some 500 families, maybe 100 to 200 families are only doing agriculture now. Remaining families are not doing at all any agriculture. So those days, every home had cattle. The cows, bulls, buffaloes. So everyone was, the whole family was completely engaged. Now everyone is migrating to cities, doing some job, getting more salaries, lavish salaries, and no one is doing agriculture. No one is there to take care of the cattle. They sold off everything. So whatever agriculture is happening by the entire village has some 10, 15 tractors. That is only happening. Eventually, there will be one manager. He will take the entire village on lease. He will have 10 tractors, 20 this type of rice cutter, grain separator, this, that, so many machines he will have, and he will employ people. And things will happen like a company. That's all. It is not, I mean, I said 1 century, I don't think so. Maybe in 1 or 2 decades, it will happen like that. The person who will have all the machines will take the entire village as a lease, and he will employ people and he will do the agriculture. Then no one will be called as farmer. They will be called as employees only. What are you doing? I am doing a job. What job? Driving the machine. Bas. So that it is not so far. So I mean, I don't know. That's so these two things I thought the main duties of the king is to provide what the people need. When that is done, people are peaceful. and king can concentrate on performing yajna, so that their prosperity can continue with the helping hand of Daiva. So we need both human effort and Daiva, sanction of Daiva, without which our prosperity cannot continue for long. So that is what I have understood going through this section. So that is what is mentioned in these verses. So after providing all the needs for all the people, now Prthu is free without any anxiety. So he could perform 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices one after the other without any anxiety. So that the entire kingdom is prosperous. Human effort is there and hand of Daiva is there. So like that. But in Kali Yuga, things are otherwise. The leaders are busy with law and order only. So there is no time for yajna only. So in that way. So here all these verses say that King Prthu is performing yajna so nicely that at the end of every yajna, Lord Vishnu came. Along with Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma came, Lord Shiva came, and all the other devatas came, and their followers came, and all these people were praised by Gandharvas, Apsaras, and say great sages like Narada, Tumburu, etc. etc. They are glorifying the glories of Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, etc. Everyone came. So that is the outcome or the result of each sacrifice. Of course, it further continued. Siddha Vidyadhara Daitya Dhanava Guyakadaya Sunandananda Pramukha Parshada Pravarahare Kapilo Narado Datto Yogesha Sanakadaya Tamanviyur Bhagavata Ya Yecha Tat Sevanostuka. Hare Krishna, someone please read the translation. Otherwise, I will only go through.
The
The
Lord
Siddhas
was
came. No,
okay,
no, I
sorry.
will read through. I will explain and read through. The Siddhas came, Vidyadharas came, Daityas came, Danavas came, Yakshas came, Sunanda and Nanda came. Nanda, Sunanda are Vaikuntavasis, the airplane drivers, etc. Gatekeepers. So everyone came, even Daityas also came. Danavas came, Yakshas came, Sunanda and Nanda, who are the Lord's chief associates. Lord Kapila came, Narada Muni came, Dattatreya came, who is the master of yoga. The four Kumaras came, who are all great devotees eager for service, followed the Lord. Since Lord Vishnu came, everyone else came. Yatra dharma duga bhumi sarva kama duga sati dhogdi smabipsitan artan yajamanasya bharata. It says that, O Vidura, at that sacrifice, that means at the end of every sacrifice or during the every sacrifice, the pure earth, yielding all the desirable things, yielding dharma, offered all the desired objects to King Prthu. That means everything produced profusely. People are very much prosperous. They would pay taxes very happily to the king. With those taxes and with all the other donations, King Prthu would perform the yajna after yajna very nicely, without any problem of collecting money and etc. Currently, Ganapati is going on. So 1 month before Ganapati, the people go on for chandas. They say, in this line, every shop wala should 2,000 rupees, every householder should give 5,000 rupees. That is a fixed mandatory. It is collected in one sense as a, we make all donation, but as a preordained rule, everyone should give. It is said like that. But here in the case of Prthu, everyone is coming by free, I mean, what you can say, with wholeheartedness. Uhu sarvarasan nadya Kshira dadi anna gorasan taravo bhuri varshmana prasuyanta maduchuta. The rivers flooded with all saps, yogurt, milk, and foods. The tall trees dropping honey produced fruits. The trees gave honey and fruits. The rivers gave yogurt, milk, and other foodstuffs. The river themselves are flowing very nicely so that the agriculture can happen very nicely. The cows can be nourished very nicely so that there are abundant production of milk products, food products, vegetable products, fruits, flowers, everything is there. So in that way. Sindavo Ratna Nikaran Girayo Annam Chaturvidam Upayanam Upajahurur Sarve Lokasapalaka. The ocean offered heaps of jewels. There are so many jewels are there in the ocean. The mountains offered 4 kinds of food. Pachami Annam Chaturvidam. Because we discussed that mountains are continuously giving forth the streams. Agriculture can happen very nicely on the banks of the streams. So all the 4 kinds of food is nicely produced. And the different abodes and their lords offered gifts. Since all the people from 14 constituents they came there, they also brought along with them so many wonderful gifts. That's how the entire sacrifice is performed in the midst of so much opulence, so much prosperity. All these things excelled the opulence of Indra. Every sacrifice is going out of order, out of expectations, and it is ended with the arrival of Lord Vishnu, surrounded by Brahma, Shiva, etc. etc. What best one can think of? So that is the understanding. So Hare Krishna, it's already, so I did not see the watch, sorry, it's already 8:30. So because since we are in the middle, so I just completed the next 2-3 verses. That section is over. The next class will continue. What did Indra do by seeing all these things? So we'll stop here. So request all the devotees to be